a very, very powerful concept, and really something that is going to really change your inner game, and a lot of the aspects which just deal with deal with things about taking decisions or taking risks in life in general, right? So this is something called, it's a mindset thing, right? Prevention oriented versus promotion oriented, and your mindset will generally lie in one of these two criteria, one of these two categories, right? So let me just give a little trivia for the people who are not aware about this. So prevention oriented mindset is basically where your focus is 100% always on preventing bad things from happening. Your focus is just on what if this happens, what if that happens, and you are focused 100% on minimizing risk and trying to ensure that you play the safest game possible. That's a prevention oriented mindset. What is a promotion oriented mindset? Where you totally, like almost totally ignore the possibilities of bad things happening and just focus on the good things that can happen, the possible wins that you can get, and the possible heights that you can achieve, right? And you almost neglect the negative aspects of it. Again, you can be smart about it by really considering the obvious negative aspects, but still really looking at the positives. So that is the first one was prevention oriented, where you are looking for things that can happen, bad things that can happen, and promotion oriented, where you're just focused on the goods that can happen. Surprisingly, it's not new to see people who have a very prevention oriented mindset to actually fail in life. And you will see that happening rather consistently, that people who have a prevention oriented mindset, what ends up happening with them is that they just fail. They just eventually fail, and it's not even a surprise that they fail, because what ends up happening is that they focus too much on what can go wrong, and their whole strategy is never about winning. It's just about minimizing risk. It's just about ensuring bad things do not happen. And what happens when you focus too much on bad things not happening? You move your eyes away from the goal. You move your eyes away from the goal, and the result is simply that you end up being someone who's just focused on minimizing risk, and resultantly you do not get the results that you actually want. That is prevention oriented mindset. Surprisingly, people with promotion oriented mindset almost always succeed. But why? Because they see opportunities. They are not looking at possible downfalls. They are not looking at possible pitfalls. And even if they fall into a pitfall, again and again and again, they will see the opportunities to rise up. They don't really consider the risk in it. They still take that risk, and because they see those opportunities, they jump on them and they actually succeed, right? And this is not luck. Trust me, this might sound so, for the people who have never experienced promotion oriented mindset, this might sound so random, so surprising, that why would someone think that way? But trust me, when you start thinking that way, you start getting results in life. To quote, there was this recent experience that happened, which kind of made me even record this video in the first place. So one of my protege, you can say, someone who's being mentored by me very personally, and he's kind of my personal project as well, someone who's a very good friend kind of as well. Initially he was my one of my clients, now a very good friend, right? So what happened is there was this opportunity that came to be, right? I created that opportunity. I literally created, or you can say manifested, although I don't like that word. I literally manifested that opportunity due to my effort, hard work, and just a lot of fucking elbow grease and all of that shit. I just made that opportunity pop up where it was not expected. And trust me, I'm talking about some big fucking opportunity here. In the sense, someone, it's equivalent to, suppose, me deciding to all of a sudden live with someone amongst the normal people and teach them game on a personal level. And it was a big fucking opportunity for me, right? And I discussed it with this friend of mine, and now you'll see the difference. I was like, dude, we are gonna fucking kill it. It's going to be a fucking amazing moment. This is just the fucking effort showing true colors, and we are just finally on the breakthrough and everything. And the person was like, are you sure? I just somehow sense there is a little trouble. What if there is there is a potential of just losing everything in here? I don't get a very good feeling about it. There is too much risk involved. It's so risky. How are you so sure? It seems so too bad to me. It can be anything. It can be very risky as well. And I just am confused. And again, because when someone is too sure, then you also start to doubt your thing. So I started doubting my thing. And also, this is something good about me, that I always do consider the other options as well. I never consider my option to be, or my opinion to be perfect, right? I always take other opinions into consideration. And when I heard his thing, I started to really think of it like seriously, ekdam ki, what is it that he's talking about? Is it a real thing? And it kind of made sense. But after a point, it was almost like, bro, you're just totally ignoring the possible, good things that can happen. And he's also a very smart person, right? A very awakened person, who's basically like, who's also aware about the things that he's doing and, just the mindsets and everything. When I really said it, bro, you are really ignoring all of the positives that can happen. All of a sudden it clicked to him. And thanks for him to actually bring it to notice. He was like, actually, now I realize you have a very positive mindset about it. It's almost like you're almost ignoring all of the possible flaws that it can have. And I was like, yeah, actually, I just realized it myself. So because he brought it to my attention, I was like, okay, yeah, so that's what's happening. Just what was happening was, he was just focused on the possible negatives, possible ways how we could get duped out of that thing, or, how we could fail in that. And my focus was totally ignoring the negatives. My focus was solely on how that opportunity can be absolutely life-altering for me, and just, something that would make me the best in India or something, right? So that was a pretty fucking new experience, where you just see it so clearly in people who are around you and having a good mindset. I mean, kid you not, that guy does not have like a weak mindset. He's a legit killer in life. He has done great shit, and he's like a high achiever. But the mindset was there. So the point being, guys, you can really look at all the negative things that can happen, or you can focus on the positives. If we are really looking at life, if we start looking at possible failures, or possible bad things that can happen, there is really no end to it. If you really look at it, there is no end to it, right? Then if life is filled with wins and losses, why should we focus on the losses, right? As an example, when you appear for an interview, no one gives a shit if you fail that interview, because on your resume, it will only mention the companies that you worked for. In other words, the companies, the successful interviews that you had, and those far outweigh the bad events that happened. So guys, have a promotion-oriented mindset in life, rather than having a prevention-oriented, right? Because opportunities strike very rarely, and when the opportunity strikes, you should just be looking at what good can happen. And obviously, you should take into consideration the bads that can happen and just try to minimize them. But your focus solely should be on grabbing opportunities as you get, because you, or anyone for that matter, gets very few opportunities, right? So when the opportunity strikes, you should be ready and looking forward to great things that can happen. See you in the next one. That was crazy, right? But do you know what's crazier? Click this playlist right here and you will see in real life hidden camera footage of me approaching and attracting beautiful women in no time. I'll also be breaking down what I said to them, how I got them attracted in minute details. So don't delay, guys. Click the playlist right now and I'll see you on the other side.